out in doing this. So I'm going to show you a more efficient technique and another way to look at counting the numbers. So we can also obtain this result by considering a string of 5 stars that represents adding up to 5. A string of 5 stars that represents adding up to 5. And by putting a separator or a bar somewhere to distinguish the first digit from the second digit. So what I mean is this: since we have been told that the condition is that the digit we're going to choose has to be the digit such that the sum must be equal to 5. So what I'm going to do is 1-4, instead of writing this, now I've been told that the sum of the digits must be 5. Now I'm going to interpret the sum of the digits by giving it a symbolic representation. So I'm going to represent the sum of the digits as a string of 5 stars. So those 5 stars, they represent adding up to 5. So we are told that the digits must sum up to 5. So I'm going to write 5 stars. So you have 1, you have 2, you have 3, you have 4, and then you have 5. So these 5 stars represent the sum of the digits adding up to 5. And then we are told that, so the numbers we are considering here, we are considering 2-digit numbers. So I'm going to have to put a separator or a bar to distinguish the first digit from the second digit. Now how do I do that? Now for the example we have here, you have 1, so I'm going to put a bar here. I'm going to put a bar here. So with this bar here represents 14. How did I get 14? Now look at this. Now what you have here, what you have in this side here is how many bars do you have to the left of the separator? How many stars do you have? Sorry to say, you have 1 star. And then to the right of the operator, how many stars do you have? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see you have 4 stars. So you can see that this representation, that is this symbolic representation, actually represents 14. So you can see, to find a 2-digit number, I needed just 1 bar. And then I said that the sum of the stars, that is the number of stars, they represent the stars such that they represent the sum equal to 5. Now how can I represent 2, 3? So again, 2, 3. So the number we have here is 2, 3. So what we have for 2, 3 is, so again we said we have 5 stars. We have 1. So again, all the stars, the number of stars we'll be considering has to be 5 stars because the sum must be 5. So the stars represent the sum being 5. So what you have here is 2, 3. So where is the bar going to be? So the bar has to be, you can guess, it's going to be here. And then to see this, what you'd observe is, how many stars do you have here? You have 2, 1, 2, 3. You have 3 here. So you can see that the numbers that you have here, they actually represent 2, 3. So the same thing can be done for 3, 2, 4, 1, and 5, 0. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to draw this to make this whole thing neater. Let's pull this down like this. So for 3, 2, we have, so again you have 5 stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have 5. So for 3, 2 says the first stars, number of stars in the first place must be 3. So you have 3. So you have 3 here, and then if you want to count that to confirm, so you're going to have 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. So similarly, you do the same thing for, and then you do the same thing for 5, 0. Now for 4, 1, like we did previously, so the sum must be 5. So you must have 5 stars, 5 stars, and then 4 stars, 1, 2, 3, 4. So separated by a bar, that is, this is the separator, and then you have 5 zeros. So the next one is 5 zeros. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So again, we are told that the last, so this is 5 and then 0. So you can see this is going to be, it has to be here. So how do you count this? So you can just look at this way. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5, and there is nothing here. So here has to be 0. Now note, in all the arrangements I made here, you'd observe that the positions that the bar filled is, it filled this second position, and then it went to the third, to the fourth, to the fifth, and to the sixth. But then in all the positions that the bar filled, it did not fill the first position. It did not fill this position here. Why? I'm going to explain to you. Now, assuming you had, like we did before, assuming you had 5 stars or 5 bars, sorry, 5 stars. Let's say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So since we said that this must represent a 2-digit number, if I decide to put my bar here as a possibility, so my question for you is, what number will this symbolic representation, what number would it represent? Okay, I assume you got the question right. So for the right hand side, how many stars do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 stars. And then to the left hand side of the bar, how many stars do you have? You have no star. So this is 0, 5. So that is the symbolic representation here connotes 0, 0, 5. But then 0, 5 is just a 1-digit number, which is 5. So that is to tell you that if you're considering the arrangement of 2-digit numbers, the bar must not occupy the first place. So in other words, the star here is fixed. So let me just represent that with something else. So the star here, that is the star in the first position, is fixed. The star in the first position is fixed, while the other ones can be varied. Now, but then where am I going to? So again, let me re-explain what I just said here. So note, we cannot start with a bar because this will mean that the first digit is 0, like we just shown here. Now, once we set the first position to be a star, because we know it must be fixed, once we set the first position to be a star, then how many stars do we have left? So the number of stars we have left is just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, that can be moved anyhow. And how many bars do we have? So we also have 1 bar. So all in all, we have five objects that can be arranged in any order to fill the remaining 5 positions. So this is the reason why I told you to watch the video that I've pasted in the link below. Assuming a question told you that you should find the number of ways of arranging 5 different objects, maybe you are told to find the number of ways of arranging 5 objects. Let's say you have 5 objects, and your 5 object contains 4 stars. Let's say it contains 4 stars, and or let me not say, this is 4 stars, 4 identical stars, because the stars are identical. 4 identical stars, and then it also contains 1 bar. So it has a bar. 1 bar. Now, how many possible ways can you arrange this? So according to the video, the number of arrangements of 5 objects that contains 4 identical bars and one bar, like I explained, is 5 factorial divided by, now since you have 4 identical objects, that will be divided by 4 factorial, and then you have 1 bar, that will be 1 factorial. And then this is just going to give you 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 divided by 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So when this goes off, what you have is going to be 5. So this corresponds to what we generated manually. You can see the answer we generated manually was 5, but then using the simple technique which I just showed you, we also obtained 5. So let's go over this again. What we did was we first considered a 1-digit number, and then we observed that it is only 5 that is the only 1-digit number. Now the next thing we did is we wanted to consider 2-digit numbers. Now manually I listed all the numbers, and then I obtained 5 to be the number of 2-digit numbers such that their sum equals 5. But then using the symbolic representation, since I've been told that the sum of the 2-digit numbers must be 5, now to represent the sum I used stars. And then since the sum must be 5, I had 5 stars. Assuming I was told that the sum of the numbers, that is the sum of the digits of the numbers, must be 6, I'm going to be using 6 stars. If I was told that the sum of the digits of the numbers must be 10, I would use 10 stars. Now again, since I've been told that the numbers are 2-digit numbers, then that implies that I must make sure that the first star is fixed. Now when the first